This story is a celebration of a small river. Okay, a creek river. Only a mile long from source to sea, this last bit of free-flowing water helped protect the entire American West. And it did it through the art of discovery. Everywhere I look, I turn on Lobos Creek in my house. My name is Michael Stewart. I live right here in the Presidio of San Francisco, just like Ansel Adams did. Lobos Creek is the river that actually is my local watershed and that I get all of this from. I'm also a local surfer here in San Francisco, and I'm a member of the Surfrider Foundation. We help clean up beaches and keep watersheds clean. I'm also a huge fan of Ansel Adams' photographs, and I was surprised to learn that he actually lived on Lobos Creek. He grew up there and lived there for 56 years. Now, Ansel took some great photographs of the West, but none of Lobos Creek. However, he wrote some amazing things about it. To be inspired by a photographer's words instead of pictures is a rare thing. So guided by Ansel's memory, I went looking for this well-hidden gem. So I had finally found Lobos Creek, but if I wanted to explore every foot like Ansel did, I was going to need some help. Since I wanted to find the most pristine water on Lobos Creek, I had to go to, you guessed it, the water treatment facility. They showed me just where my water comes from. Plant supervisor Scott Sachs showed me where they pulled the water out of the river and put it to the neighborhoods, but when I was asking him more about access, he told me to go see the Park Service. Since access to the top of Lobos Creek is restricted, Alicia Scott of the National Park Service was kind enough to give me a tour.
It's not just spring-fed, up at the very beginning of the watershed. There are actually springs bringing water up from groundwater all the way along the creek. So Lobos Creek is very important in the ecology of the city of San Francisco because it's the last, ecologically intact, free-flowing, year-round creek. And the big stand of willows that's in the back of Lobos here, it is the biggest stand of willows left in the city of San Francisco. And so tons of birds, migrating little birds, warblers, vireos, willow flycatchers come through here and hang out in the willow trees. Cooper's hawks, scrub jays, we've got great blue herons and egrets fishing in the water here on the stickleback. So there's an amazing diversity of birds that hang out here in the Lobos Creek Valley area.
I also asked Alicia about Ansel Adams and his connection to Lobos Creek and just how important it was to him and to his legacy.
All of that environmentalism and conservation that came out of Ansel Adams started right here. At that time, in early San Francisco history, they were living on what was like the hinterland of the San Francisco Peninsula. It was big sand dunes out here. They were truly living on the edge of wilderness. So he was left to his own devices all day to go out in the habitats around the Presidio, the dunes of the Presidio, with his camera and his journal and do whatever he wanted to. And so that being here and romping around the Presidio was really the introduction to Ansel Adams that you know, is that thing that all people who end up loving the environment, you ask them how do they get interested in nature, and they mention something that they did when they were a little kid that really cemented that feeling for them. And this was that place for Ansel Adams. And then later, you know, all of his photography.
Lastly, I asked about Adams' efforts to help popularize the national parks with the American public.
The idea was to hire Ansel Adams to create these amazing images of the parks, Big Bend and Yosemite and a couple of other national parks, that could be then put out there to get the public excited about national parks and say, look at that beautiful picture. I want to go visit that place.
After putting some time in with the Presidio Park stewards to restore the upper part of Lobos Creek, I was eager to search out on my own for something closer to the beach. I saw a little small spot that looked kind of promising. Alright, so we've been exploring and I've been walking every single foot of Lobos Creek so far. And really, it's an incredibly hard creek to find because it's so overgrown and the access is bad and different property rights. But this little spot here, it's right on the footpath where everyone can come, and it's actually accessible to the only reflecting pool, really, that I've seen down here. It's incredibly peaceful, incredibly quiet. I think this would make a great spot to actually clean up and clear out so that people can actually come down here and see that there's a river here and be interested and hear the quietude and really have a connection to the river. That way, they'll help clean it up, keep it safe, and they can actually make a connection to it. So. Cleaning up this little reflecting pool kind of started as a solitary project of mine, but the more that people saw what I was doing, the more they were interested. And boy, did that lead to some help pretty soon. I was actually amazed at the amount of people that came by, and all kinds of different folks. We're talking about people walking their dogs, people from environmental groups, people on hikes, people just checking it out, trying to see what it is, and interested, and definitely interested when I tell them that Ansel Adams just lived right above this creek. The other really cool thing about this is that I think this would be a great spot for the Ansel Adams Memorial Reflecting Pond, something like that. Something where people can actually understand that he was part of this, he grew up on this landscape, and that inspired him to go out and be the artist and be the environmentalist that he actually came to be, all of which helped establish a national park system and really bring eco-consciousness to the forefront of the American psyche. These are not light. It's been a lot of effort, but we've completed the work on the reflecting pool. We got the signage. Last thing to do is just to mark this thing so people know that it's here. We're going to do the old mountaineering kind of technique of marking something with a cairn, because Ansel Adams spent a lot of time in the mountains. He would have definitely appreciated this. And this is going to be the spot to get people to actually stop on the trail and look down, see the pool, and go down and check it out. So, let's go. Cool, huh? It's got the part here, and then it's got the whole story here right on the back, right? There's also, right down here, there's a whole set of information for people that come down here and actually come to the reflecting pool. There's ways for them to get involved, websites that go right to becoming a park volunteer. So here's my take. I think the real legacy of Lobos Creek is the power to inspire and amaze all of us. And that's worth protecting, no matter how small the river. So get out there and see what's in your backyard, and fight to protect your rivers.